discussing a term paper on factory conditions of the 1940s, interviewing Mary Eickholt of 408 Pine Street, telephone number 845-6118. It's 1st of January, and it's 1:17 in the afternoon. Okay.
A normal day.
Okay, could you describe a normal work day from the start of the day? Okay.
Normal work day?
Normal work.
You just went to work every day and that's all. You worked 8 hours, maybe overtime. If there was overtime, we just did our job. Then when we come home, we worked at home.
What was your job and how did you do it?
What was my job? Well, I was on inspection and grinding, little stuff there. That's about all I can think of. Everybody had their own job to do.
Do you remember anything else about the work day? Did you have anything?
There was nothing there. Just you had to go to work, do your job, come home, and then start all over again the next day.
What did the factory look like? Was it dark or?
No, we had lights there.
Well,
It wasn't dark.
Describe it. Describe it.
There's nothing there, just a whole bunch of machinery and stuff. And the people working in there. Young people and old people. And the young people that went to the war, why, the rest of the people had to take their place to work. That's it. Everybody had their own job to do, and they got the job done. After 8 hours, waiting home.
So there wasn't like social, you didn't talk at all?
No, there was no talking.
At lunchtime you didn't talk to anybody or anything?
No, you talk to your people you work with, had lunch with, and that's all. You didn't have no visiting time or anything.
What did you talk about, like, when you did get together?
I don't remember what I talked about now. It's been a long time. Talked about nothing important. You had to eat and get back to work. Our time was limited. We went to the bathroom. It was limited. They had a woman there, police woman, timing you. And there's nothing else. You did the same thing every day, over and over again. If you run out of work, you had to sweep the floor. Anything to keep yourself busy until it's time to go home. And that's it.
Was there, like, do you remember anything else? Like, how did this lady time you? Did she,
By your watch.
By watch, but, what were the penalties if you stayed in there too long?
We didn't have no penalties. We just had to get out of there and back to our job. That was the penalty. They'd just let you stay there so long and that's it. There ain't nothing else. That's a plain old job. You do your job and go back home and start all over the next day. That's all there was to it.
Yeah. What if you,
What is what?
Could you describe any of the like people. I mean, what was the attitude towards work?
We just work with people, that's all. Normal people. I think it was normal. There was no time for gossip or anything. You went to your work, to your job, and you did it. Yeah. There's nothing special about that. And just like today, everybody, they go and do their work.
Did he have like nicknames or anything?
Huh?
Did he have nicknames?
Nickname?
Nicknames, you know.
No, I didn't have no nickname.
Or was there any special worker that really stuck out in there and made work a little bit easier to go on? Made you want to go there?
When I what?
Was there anything that really brought you together, like the workers all together?
Nothing special, no. Oh, what else is there? There ain't nothing else to say, John.
What effect did the war have on the factory?
That don't affect you when you're in the factory. It was just a place to work. In our factory, but there was different. There was a gun plant where they made different parts for guns and stuff. Then they made another plant. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 2 plants. After that, but I didn't go there. We just worked at one plant. There wasn't much interesting in where we worked. We just did our job, that's all.
So basically all you did is go from home to work and back?
Yeah, and you work at home. I had 3 kids to take care of when I got home. Yeah. There was nothing interesting.
Nothing interesting.
No. There's lots of pictures in there, but ours is somewhere in here, but I don't know where the heck it is. There are different plants in here, plants from all over the country.
Where do these clippings here?
I don't know, the kids put them in there. Must have been cutting out stuff, see, for something for school. Yeah. I know, I'm looking for my,
You're looking for your name?
yeah, looking, but I don't know where it is. It's in here somewhere. They're all people that went to war.
All went to war? All the young people?
All the young ones, yeah. All the young ones went.
Yeah. And who is left?
Huh?
Who didn't go to war?
Well, the older people
The older people.
didn't go. They had to be a certain age, and the ones that had families, they had to stay home. And the older people and the women.
What was this a picture of right here?
That's a plant in Atlanta plant.
Oh.
Looking for my plant, but I don't know where it is. I even forgot about the people where I worked with by now. I can't remember all that. I'm too old. See this? And plant 2. Where they make and guns. He was working on trucks and cars in my plant.
The trucks and cars, the
Tanks and
war
stuff.
tanks.
Yeah. Parts of them. Yeah. No, I can't tell you anything more, because I'm just a plain old worker. That's all I was. And nothing special. Just a plain old worker. I wasn't very old then, but I didn't know.
Oh.
Yeah.
What was the general reason for people going to work?
What was the reason they had to go to work?
They went to work.
Well, a lot of them had to work to make a living.
They would have worked.
And a lot of them had to pitch in during the war because on account of man shortage. That's what. Yeah. Yeah.
So
I worked for the both. I needed the money and I had to help the country too. And there's nothing special about that, John, because that's what people are working today for everything. It's the same difference. Shop work. Yeah.
were the conditions really bad in the shop?
At the shop?
What were some of the conditions like?
There wasn't any conditions.
Like the air quality or anything?
Well, yeah, we didn't have no fans blowing on us or nothing. We worked in the heat. We had heat during the summer and winter. They did wear masks for their noses and the mouth, you know, different jobs. But people had to keep the place clean themselves. The ones who didn't if they run out of work or something, they had to pick up a broom and clean up. Clean the place up. They didn't have no special people coming in there. The floors was a lot of times just oily and everything. And people had to watch themselves.
Were there any safety regulations?
Rules and regulations. Well, yeah, there's only rules you had to do your job and not gallivate around or blab and all that stuff.
What would be the consequences if you would?
Well, they get rid of you. You didn't do your work. They don't want you. That's all I can tell you, John. I don't know. I don't know what that was or not.
Is this your plant?
No, that's a gun plant. That's a gun plant. That wasn't my plant.
What did they do?
They made parts for guns and stuff. There's a picture over here somewhere. Maybe this almost looks like my plant. They don't have the number on it. Here. I don't even remember any of these old guys here. What is this here? It's a gun and bullets and stuff.
How was this constructed? You made
No, I didn't. I don't know. I never worked there. don't know nothing about that.
Did any of these people just quit their jobs and start working the...
They worked in the same plant, but they just switched from peacetime to wartime.
Was there a hurry in making these jobs?
These plants was made, I don't know, it was made after a lot of them made after the war.
Could you describe what you made?
I don't know what I made. I'm working on little parts. I don't even remember what the name of it is. I don't know what the hell this thing is. It looks like a gun, but I don't know what it is.
What did your shop purpose was? What did they make?
They made parts for different things, mostly for automobiles when we started there. And then I quit. I had to quit work. Take care of the kids. This is a war diary here.
What was the war diary?
That's been President Roosevelt was in.
What was the... So there's nothing out of the ordinary that... Anything?
No, ain't nothing happened. The change over from normal times to 100% war production utilizes vast source of potential war material. No, I don't know. That's not a very good story to tell about that, because there was nothing interesting to tell. No, there was nothing interesting to tell where I worked. Just went to work and you come home nights and work at home again. There was nothing else about John to tell. Well, we all had our jobs to do, and that was it.
What sort of substances did you work with?
Huh?
What sort of substances did you work with?
Substance?
Is
It's all iron stuff. The pieces of iron. What I did mostly was that grinding, parts of it off, Then I first I had to wash it and drain it, and Put it on the machine to grind, and that's it.
How is this process? Could you describe the process a little bit better? Describe the process a little bit better.
Well, then I give it to the other guy, and he did his job on it, whatever he had to do.
I mean, what you do when you washed it, drained it?
I washed it in some kind of a stuff. What the heck they call it? Creosote or something, I don't know, some oily stuff. And drained it, it all in the basket. And then drained it, and then the other guy took it and he did his job on it, whatever he did.
Why did you wash it?
Why?
Why?
I don't know, I was told to wash it. Wash all the little scraps and stuff that was on it.
Made the day routine.
Like what? It's that routine job you gotta do. Same old thing every day. Everybody had their own thing to do, and that was it. You did it and you went home. After that, just like they do now. It's the same thing. You could go ask your dad what he does nowadays. Well, he does his job, whatever he does, and that's it. He don't go out running all over the plant to see what he could find out or talk or anything. He's right there on the job. It's the same thing with people them days. They had to get the production out, and that's it. They had so much to do, they had to do it.
So they get an order to meet?
Yes. Everybody had so much to, a lot of time they wouldn't make it. You'd have to make up the difference the next day. Yeah. And there's nothing special about it. They just had their jobs to do. That's their work. If you didn't want to do as they tell you, you got a boss who told you what to do, you do it. If you don't want to do it, then get somebody else to do it. So, they'd be pushing you around till you lost your job. There's nothing special. There was no good times or nothing.
So you didn't work for a union?
There was no union at that time. We didn't. I don't know whether even we had a union or not. At that time. I don't remember. We must have had some kind of union because we had union dues. They never brought much money home, I know, the time they took everything out. It must have been union, your insurances. And everything's good. I don't know exactly.
Remember what the union did for you?
It didn't do nothing for me because I did my job. The rest of them got in trouble or something. They'd contact the people, the union people, what to do, what not to do. But I always did my work. I never called on nobody. Yeah. I'll keep you dressed, I guess.
So there was...
Was
there... What did they push you around? The management?
No, I wasn't pushed around.
They push anybody else around?
I don't remember being pushed. They all did their work. This one time, they laid off some people, you know, that was munching around, didn't want to work. And they put their women on the man's job. You know, now that was interesting. And I got on a line there where the work was a little bit too heavy for me to lift and stuff. And I couldn't do it fast enough because it took a little time to do that job, and the boss comes out and tells me, let her go, let her go. I said, that's not done yet, it's going to come back. And he says, that's my worry, you just do what I tell you. I said, okay, well, let the stuff go down. And in a short time, the same stuff come back from wherever they send it to, you know. They come back. And then we got to blame. I got to blame for it. Not the boss. Yeah. I remember that. And I told him off, and he didn't like it. Of course, they had more authority. The working people didn't have much authority, you know.
Yeah.
I fixed them. All that stuff come back. Did iron come back?
The poor quality iron.
Huh?
The poor quality stuff.
What do you mean, quality stuff?
The poor stuff. The bad stuff.
I reported it.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I didn't report it. I had no right to report nothing.
Oh, you didn't, like the women didn't have no rights in the shop?
Well, anyway, I didn't report it.
Oh.
Because I figure they know what they're talking about, so you let it go, so I just let it go. I didn't report it, no. I told the girls there, and said, well, they want it like that, let it go, the heck with them. It's their fault, not mine. But I got the blame for it.
You got the blame?
Yeah. So that wasn't right.
No.
Yeah.
What would you have done? What would they have done if you did report it?
I don't know what they would do.
You have any idea?
They'd probably blame it all on me if I did.
Yeah.
Like they did. They blame me, well, you shouldn't have let it go down. I told another guy, he says, this other guy told me, let it go, let it go. Get the production, get it going, get it going. I said, okay, I'll let it go.
You didn't care about the quality of the stuff, did they?
No, it come back from the company, whoever needed it, you know, and they come back, and they had to do it over. Yeah. Because the other company wouldn't accept it because it wasn't done right. Yeah.
If you're building a company, what rights would you give its workers?
If I was building a company?
Yeah, like GM. What rights and how would you set it up?
God, well, John, how can I answer a thing like that?
What rights would you give them?
Well, I'd be right with him. I mean, I wouldn't, I'd give the best right that I would know how, you know.
When you were a worker, like, the rights the company gave you, would you give them or more, or less?
Well, I was treated right as far as that goes. So, I figured as long as you did the job, that's all I was in there for, just to do my job. But if they were lazy and pushed the work on somebody else and everything, I'd fire them. I wouldn't have them. It wouldn't be any good for me or anybody else either. But any person that wants to work, even today, if he does his job, he's going to have a job. If he don't, he's going to be out. Even with the union. The union can't fight for a lazy man and pushing the work on somebody else and he gets paid for it. Ain't that right? Yeah, that's the way I look at it.
So you'd give them just the rights the company gives you?
Well, sure. If I was in wrong, why, that'd be another thing. As long as I did my job, they ain't got nothing against me. It'd be the same thing with you. You did your work, why, you can depend on you. You wouldn't fire the guy if he does his work, would you? I know. But the guy's got to do his job. Even nowadays, they don't work, why, some of them get away with it.
So compared to your conditions, your air quality and everything, it'd be the same? Like, everything?
Yeah.
I mean, so, would you change anything? Like, would there be any changes?
Well, just like I said, you do your job, I'll leave you to do your job. I wouldn't be on your back. I wouldn't have a guy work for me and I gotta stand back him and watch him all the time. If I can depend on him working there without me watching, I wouldn't have him there. You as far as that goes, I don't know how else to say that. As long as the guy works, he does his job, that's it. Union or no union. A union ain't got no right to fight for a man's job if he don't do his job. Because they'd be in the wrong too. Yeah. But if you're right and the union fights for you, you gotta have some kind of protection for a working man. They need some kind of protection. If they're right, if they're wrong, well, it's a different thing. But a lot of people don't like the union. Even some of the big shots don't care for the union because they can get away with a lot of stuff, you know.
How so does workers don't like the union?
A lot of workers don't like the union, yeah.
How so? Why?
I don't know why, but I know a lot of them don't like it. But the country has to be unionized. Because you gotta have some protection in case you need it. That's the way I look at it. A lot of people do. Everybody's different. But they gotta be togetherness, working together. Now look at the farmers. They don't work together. Everybody's for themselves. The heck with you. Yeah, that's all wrong. Not much when you say that on a tape there, you know.
Well, you can say whatever you want. Okay. What would some of the changes be if you were boss?
If I was boss?
In your day, if you're a guy.
Well, I'd treat the people right if I was a boss.
Would you change, like you said something about the air quality? Would you change the air quality and make the managers better? You pick them better?
If I was boss, if I know they're doing their job right, I'd let them do it. I wouldn't worry too much about the production like when we work. Because it's what kind of a job you do and how you do it means something. Not the production, just to get it through.
So you'd be worried about the quality, or would you change anything about the quality?
What do you mean by I wouldn't change this one by the quality?
Like, was your quality of the stuff, the merchandise, would you change the quality, make it better or less?
Well, you have to try and do it for better. When you want to do a good job, you want to make it the best way you know how. That's quality, ain't it?
Did the managers, when you were working, did the managers try to step up production and make changes?
Well, you got to do what the manager says. If you're working for him, your boss, you got to do what he says. If you're a worker, you don't have too much to say. You do what he says if you're working for somebody. But if you was your own boss, that'd be different again. You want that product to be the best way that it can be. But like during the war, they're pushing everything through so fast. Production, everybody yapping for production. You want so much of it out, whether it's done perfect or not.
So they didn't care about the quality?
No, they think it's okay. That's the way they thought. Yeah. You know, like we did, we us women, we worked to beat 60. A lot of time we had overproduction. And then we'd hide it, you know, under the table and stuff, so you'd have a good start in the morning. Yeah. And the boss, he knew we was doing it, but he didn't care as long as we got our work out, you know. Yeah. He did things like that. And the men, the guys that was on repair work, they did repair work, you know, they could be goofing around all day, going to the bathroom and just walking around. And yet, many times I told him, one guy, I'm going to tell you know, he used to say, you guys just working so hard, you know. Well, he wasn't on production, so he didn't care. He was goofing around. Yeah, I said, oh. Then he comes, he says he goes home and his wife waits on him hand and foot, you know. I said, boy, if you wait till I see your wife, I'm going to tell her how you work hard. He said, you ain't going to get to see my wife or talk to her. But they got away with it. And I think they're still getting away with a lot of stuff.
The man?
Yeah. But that was during the war. Of course, the people that are doing that kind of work, I guess they can get away with a lot of stuff.
When you hit over production, well, when you put it under the table, how did you do it?
We did it. We put it under the table and cover it up with something, you know. Maybe paper or something, you know. Cardboard boxes and stuff. We cover it up and hide it. Then in the morning we put it out. We got a good start. Because in the morning they're all waiting for it. Everybody has their own job. You got yours done, somebody else got to do something else of that, and then it keeps on going down the line. So we had a good start.
So you could work
Yeah.
like take it easy a little bit more, and you know, rest a little bit.
Yeah, we worked to beat 60 all day. To get our production out, and we get it over. Sometimes we didn't get it out, because it all depends what you had to do to it and how bad it was. Yeah. We managed to get ours out pretty good, us women.
What sort of stuff did the men get away with?
Well, like when they work on repairs and stuff, they take their time. They don't have to work. Their work isn't like on production. They don't do whatever they want to get away with it. They can always save a little bit for tomorrow. They don't have to get no production out. That's what even doing that today even.
So
we had our different people had their production to get out, and they had to be out.
what did the women do?
Women did a lot of work. They worked on the machines, and they did inspection work. They worked on the line. They did all kinds of work. They worked on the great big machines. Some of them was dangerous too. Some had straps on, you know, and take their fingers out of the way, you know, if you didn't get them out, out of the way in time, so you can cut your arm up. Yeah, women did all kinds of work. And they was good at it too. I never worked in a great big machine. But I worked on small stuff.
What sort of stuff did you work on?
I can't tell you the name of it. No.
What did it look like?
Well, I don't know. I don't think I could. I don't think you would know if I told you what the thing was. Flanges, maybe?
What?
Flanges. Flanges. For different cars. Flanges for a Chevrolet and an Oldsmobile and a Cadillac. They called it a flange. If I see it on a car, I'll show it to you.
What does it look like?
Well, maybe like a cross, like. Yeah.
A cross? Is
Yeah.
it Christian cross?
Yeah, they look like a cross, kind of. Pencil. Plan on that order. like that somehow.
So it's concave and
Well, something like that.
where are these detailing?
I don't know, some of that stuff had to be, what do you call it? Scraped off or cleaned off on the ends. But it's on that order, something like that.
What is this, what was the purpose of this?
Well, I don't know, it belongs in a car somewhere. I don't know what the purpose of it is. It belongs in the car, some kind of a piece of material there, whatever that is. Yeah. You probably see it in a car, you wouldn't know it.
What sort of machines did you work on? Machines.
Oh, I was, what did I tell you I was doing before?
Grinder.
Huh?
Grinding. And
Grinder, yeah, on a grinder, like. I had to grind the corners off of things. Yeah. It's just a little grinder. Yeah. I think they did have a union then at that time, but I forget. Were they just starting or they had it? And I know some of the rules, they were going to complain about the union. They were going to tattle because if one person had more time in a shop than you did, and they was pushing you around, you know. If they was giving the other person more work, and they had less seniority than you did, so there must have been a union there. Yeah, and they watch for that. They're going to make sure that the person that has more seniority gets the job. Then if they're laying off, they'd lay off the person that had less seniority, you know. Yeah, they forgot about that. But, I didn't get laid off. I quit because I had too much to do at home.
had too much stuff to do.
Yeah. And the kids and everything. The old man didn't want me to work anyway. Too much friction at home. Yeah.
So the factory is kind of stressful on your family.
Huh?
So the effects on the factory work was stressful
Yeah.
at home.
No, I had trouble having a babysitter and all that stuff, you know. Grandpa, he worked days and I worked nights, and it made it kind of mad. I did work for a while there. I liked to work. It was easier than staying home with the babies. Yeah.
What you generally get paid is in, what were the wages per work? Were the
It wasn't very big wages them days. No, they're not wages like they are today. The wages are pretty slim. I can't remember just what we got paid at that time, but it wasn't very big. I had to wait for my vacation pay to pay the taxes. Never went nowhere for vacation. That's the way it was them days. By the time you figure everything out, the amount's the same thing like today, really. Because look at the price they got on cars and stuff now. My God, them days you could buy a car maybe for